Hello everyone, Unknown Reefer here. First video I've done for a little while. I've been massively busy with work, even going out the country for work and stuff. And I've actually been a bit busy with the tank as well. So I thought I'd do some updates and some reviews today. So this video is going to be about some reasonably big changes to the filtration. Tank's a little bit cloudy because I've just gone around and scraped all the glass and even down by the sand for this video, so it's looking all shiny, but there's a few particulates in the water which you probably can't see on the video. First big change to the filtration is I've got rid of my Jebao SOW8 that was up in that corner, and I had a little, it was like a £10 little wave, constant flow wave maker up in that corner, because I went to the fish shop with some money and I bought this Jebao Crossflow 55, so it's a CP55, and I actually found that combined with the return seems to get enough flow going round the tank, to be honest. The fish seem a bit more active in the flow. They're a little bit spooked at the moment because I have just churned everything up to clean it out a little bit. This Elegance down here is still getting used to the flow, but as part of the churning out I did turn the Crossflow up to full power just to get everything to go down the weir. So yeah, really good little bit of kit. I'm not going to do like a proper review, but I will, once I've had it in for about a month or so, I will do a proper review on it. The one thing before I get to that I will say is that they are noisy when they first go in the tank. I had it out a couple of times and took it apart, and then it ended up being quite late at night, and the wife already had the ump with me for spending too much time faffing with the tank that day. So in the end I just left it. I put it on a 4 setting out of whatever it is, the 10, and then woke up in the morning and it was as quiet as this. So I'm going to stop talking for 2 seconds so you can just hear how loud it is. So you probably can't even hear that over the fans for my MaxSpec jump lights. Those lights are actually on full power that I set them to for the day, so that's as noisy as they get. And they're not constantly going, even when they're on the max setting. They turn on to cool off, and then once they've cooled down they'll then turn off. The other big change in my filtration has been that I finally bought the filter roller I was looking at in the shop. It's a Bubble Magus filter roller. I think it's AF1 something or other. Very simple unit really. You've got your fresh material on your reel that goes round the outside of this cage that goes into your sump, and you have a water level that's probably going to turn in a minute because it's picking up all the stuff from clearing out the tank above. What happens is your water comes down, goes into this cage. Your filter roll catches the dirty material, and then when it reduces, because the filter roll's full, it will then fill up, hit that float switch, and it will then rotate. You probably heard it rotate a couple of minutes ago when I was showing you the tank above. Wanted one of these for quite a while. I managed to get this for 90 quid with a brand new roll with it as well. Second hand, but to be honest it looked almost brand new anyway. It was a pig to put in, purely because of those bulkheads. As you can see, I've had to put some PTFE tape. The bulkheads in these DD Reef Pros, when you tighten either this bit up at the bottom or tighten that, in particular, that turns so that it actually loosens the bulkhead off. The way I got round it was I actually read the manual after installing this tank, and they suggest getting a screwdriver and a hammer, and then just putting the screwdriver on the outside of the nut and then giving it a little tap, and it tightens itself off. Turn my light back on, which did work, but it was a bit swearing at the end of putting this in, which I did expect. And all I did was I just took the downpipe. These Bubble Magus ones come with a flexi hose. All I did was I got a heat gun on the bottom of the existing pipe for the tank, and I heated it up and put it over the connector for the flexi hose, so it's hard plumbed in, so it's nice and quiet. And in fact, it is a lot quieter than filter socks because they would open up and there'd be a drop into them, so they'd be noisy. But this is dead silent. With doing that, I've had to move my phosphate reactor to the other side just to give me the clearance for this. I know you can get the Clarices so that the skimmer would fit in front of it, but they're very expensive. So what I've done is I've actually moved the refugium that was in this chamber. I've moved over to underneath where the filter roller is. I've stuck my Tunzi light in there. I've got rid of my other little USB lights. So that's running in there. I filled that with pods as well, some fresh pods. So rather than that going through, because they'll all get chewed up by the skimmer, I'll stick a rock in there, give it a month to get filled with pods, and then chuck it in the tank and just keep rotating a couple of rocks. I did actually put some fresh copepods up in the tank anyway for my mandarin going through. The only thing I would say about putting the filter roller in, lovely bit of kit, nice and quiet. I'm expecting it to go through this first roll pretty quickly because I was using 100 micron filter socks and the filter rolls are 25 micron, I believe. So it's going to churn through that one to clear the water, but then once it's done, I'm hoping it'll be alright. I did notice that my skimmer was going crazy and overflowing. So I've raised it up even further already, but I'm going to have to do it again. I'm going to have to raise it another 10 mil or so, just so the cup doesn't constantly overflow. I would consider just turning it off because the filter roller, from what I've read online, does the majority of the work anyway. But I want to oxygenate the water, and I've got the pipe actually goes out the window now, out that window, but actually out the wall. So it's helping stabilise my pH. So that's a job for today, is to cut some more egg crate stuff, because can you really call yourself a reefer if you haven't got egg crate somewhere in your tank? So yeah, that's the only real issue I've had, apart from a little bit of a pig of installation. I've got to raise that skimmer up because it's just overflowing with water. Other than that, the tank seems fairly happy. This stuff's been in about a week. The only thing I would say is this Elegance is a bit more closed up than it usually is, but it's not quite as open as it was. I think a couple of parts to that is I've got a bit more flow going around it now, but I'll accept a slightly more closed up Elegance if the flow around the whole of the tank's better and keeps the tank healthier. And I did have a issue with my powder brown white spotting up with the stress and everything, although I had a little bit before, so I've tried to treat that, which has upset the Elegance a little bit, but I've got my carbon back in and done a couple of water changes since then, so it's healthy. It's just not as massive as it would usually be, but to be honest, if I walked into Coral Shop and saw something like that, I'd quite happily buy it anyway. And the increased flow has actually probably caused my Duncans, strangely enough, to come out more, and their polyps to move around more, so I'm happy with that. Most stuff seems happy. It's a bit Gonipora isn't that happy, but I have had that sulk before. It doesn't look like it's dying away, it's just not very happy. Yeah, everything else seems good, apart from my ongoing issues with a couple of bits of soft coral, but I just think my nutrients aren't high enough to get those to do anything, so they may be getting traded in for some more acans possibly, because these acans are going crazy with their growth underneath, these green ones. So my LPS seems happy enough, and the SPS as well. I just think that phosphate reactor has meant that these softies aren't very happy. So that's all for now. I'll stop babbling on. We'll focus on the tank. Any questions about any of the new kit I've got, or the 1500 or anything, pop them down below. Thanks a lot.